Hello, I'm going to do my country presentation on the beautiful and wonderful country of Indonesia. I chose this country because this country really interests me and it's kind of a mystery to me as well. So, yeah. With all that being said, we're about to hop on in to this country presentation. So, we're going to go over the introduction, the location, cuisine and foodways, language and dialects, religion, and also some interesting facts on the country Indonesia. So, like I said before, I chose this because of my own personal beliefs and interests. I have never been to this country. However, I want to go. And a lot of the interesting things that I never knew, I learned while researching this country, and it made me super want to go now. However, Indonesia became an independent country on August 17th, 1945. Although it had been a country several years before 1945, because it was owned by the Dutch, it gained its independency in 1945 and also changed its name to Indonesia. However, although it got its independence in 1945, it was not recognized as a country until the 1960s. Sadly, the United Nations had to step in and force the Dutch to let go of Indonesia and actually let it be recognized as its own country. Even though it was independent in 1945, it was still under the Dutch rule. So, technically, Indonesia is a young country since it was not recognized until 1960 and it didn't gain independence until 1945. The location of Indonesia, it's in the Southeast Asia. Here's the Indian Ocean right here, and here's Indonesia. So if you know where the Philippines are, which is right here, here's Indonesia, north of Australia, south of Vietnam. But this should give you a really good outlook on where the country is. So on to cuisine and foodways. Coffee is the largest production in Indonesia. It is also the world's second largest coffee producer. They call theirs Java. So if you ever had some Java coffee, or Java beans, it came from the region Java in Indonesia. This has actually helped their economy a whole lot with a lot of the voyagers and all that coming in and out. This has helped their economy. There's also another cuisine called Rajasthan. I hope I pronounced that right. However, these two pictures are an example of it. It could be anything really. It's however, you have one main dish in the middle, so you can have a starch as in rice in the middle, or you can have meat. But it has several smaller dishes and smaller bowls, as you can see around each picture, that consist of foods. And these foods are also cultured foods. Majority of these foods have a bunch of vegetables in them and leafy greens and all that. This is just what Indonesian food culture is. They have a lot of veggies around one big dish. These two dishes are normally served in a restaurant. You can go and get it elsewhere, but however, they are normally served in a restaurant. If you cannot finish all of it, you cannot take it home. You have to eat it within the restaurant. That's just their rules. Also, this dish derives from the Dutch as well. The one on top is Dutch Indonesian, and this one's just an Indonesian one. They put their own little spin on it from the Dutch, and then they actually made their own right here at the bottom. As I said before, Indonesia used to be owned by the Dutch, so they have a lot of Dutch culture within their culture in itself. Languages and dialects. There are over 300 languages that are spoken in Indonesia. Bahasa is the official language of Indonesia. However, only 7% of the population actually speaks this language. They normally only use this language in education, business interactions, and the media, only because it is easier to translate than the other several different dialects and languages that they have. This language derives from Dutch, Chinese, Sanskrit, Arabic, and Portuguese as well. So there are four main dialects that are spoken on the mainland. The mainland would be where Java, Bali, all of those two regions, that's what's considered the mainland. There are four different dialects, like I said, that are spoken: Javanese, Balinese, Mingakapu, I don't think I pronounced that right, and Sundanese. Although you will be on the same mainland island and there's four different dialects, you still will not understand what the other dialect is saying. For instance, if you live in Java, you'll speak Javanese. If you live in Bali, you'll speak Balinese. However, even though you're on the same mainland, if you're Balinese and you try to speak to someone who speaks Javanese, you will not understand what they're saying. It doesn't easily translate to one to the other. Religion is really big in Indonesia. Just about everyone there has a religious affiliation. The practice of Islam is really big there. There's a lot of Muslims, as you can see on the chart. The Christianity is big there too, and you have Hindu, and there's others. So in the others, I tried to see what exactly religions are considered other. However, there's so many. There's very vast of them. But the one that really caught my eye was the atheist. Atheism is not accepted in Indonesia. Even though Indonesia you are able to practice whatever religion that you want. However, if you are an atheist and you practice atheism, you can be arrested for blasphemy. So pretty much atheism is not accepted in Indonesia. Religious conflicts. This country is not a stranger to religious conflicts. There have been several conflicts within the past, and there are some that are currently happening right now in today's world. It's mainly between the Muslims and the Christians. They are constantly fighting almost over everything, and thousands of people have died due to these conflicts. However, they are labeled religious conflicts, but it's not really about religion while they're fighting. They're normally fighting over politics, who's better, and who gets the control. That's typically what they're always fighting over, and thousands of people, like I've said, have died from this conflict. However, these two parties, the Muslims and the Christians, they've been fighting almost nonstop since Indonesia became independent. However, on to better things. Some interesting facts about Indonesia. There are 1,300 ethnic groups and 40 uncontacted groups. So the 1,300 ethnic groups come from what region you're from. So if you're from Java, you'll say you're Javanese. If you're from Bali, you'll say you're Balinese. It's just like the dialect that they speak. They definitely identify as that ethnic group. The 40 uncontacted groups are considered your jungle tribes. They're completely isolated. No one really knows exactly what language that they speak or what dialect that they speak, due to whenever someone encounters one on one of the various islands that Indonesia has, they tend to just go back into isolation. They do not want to be seen. However, there are a few that do come out to be seen, and they do some do interact. However, they eventually go back to isolation. So some interesting facts about Indonesia. How many islands are there exactly? No one really knows how many islands there are exactly in Indonesia. So pretty much um it's just a rough estimate. At one point it was 13,000, 17,000, then 18,000. However, the 17,000 is the most current number. There are a group of people who are currently traveling all throughout Indonesia to actually count how many islands there are. They said it's going to take about 2-3 years for them to actually get to each island and count them, because they have to document each and every island. And then towards the end, they're going to come together and they're going to see how many islands that they get in total. It's estimated to be more than 18,000. However, as of right now, they don't exactly know how many. So the guesstimate is between 17,000 and 18,000. So as you see, here's Indonesia right here, and here's the Ring of Fire. With Indonesia being right here, and it goes from here to here, like right above Australia, right there, they have a bunch of volcanoes. They actually have a total of 147 that have been counted. However, that number has been reported to be bigger. However, there's no exact number on the volcanoes either, as well as the islands. But there are 76 active volcanoes. The Merapi is the most feared and dangerous of all of them. Only because this volcano, it erupted many moons ago, and it dropped the Earth 1 degree. So dropping the Earth 1 degree kind of freezes a lot, and it starts an ice age. So this volcano is believed to be responsible for the ice age. And also, yeah, it was responsible for the ice age. And the Black Death. No one's been able to really prove that it was responsible for the Black Death, but that's the legend in Indonesia. But it did create the ice age, though. This volcano actually erupts almost yearly. However, it doesn't do the really huge eruption, but it is set to do a huge eruption sometime soon. No one really knows when, but it's the most watched and the most dangerous and feared. However, there is a tourist attraction to it as well. So, although it's dangerous and feared, you can also go visit this as a tourist attraction. The last interesting fact of Indonesia is tourism. So if you want to go on like a nice vacation hotspot and it looks super luxurious for super cheap, Bali is one of the islands you can visit, and it's super cheap. There's several islands that they have that you can go to, not just Bali, but you can go to Java, and you can get all of the experience of really looking like you're on a luxurious vacation and you paid a lot of money, but really it's super cheap. Like you can stay there for $39 a night. And if you only bring 1,000 US dollars, you have 40 million Indonesian rupiahs, which is their currency for money. So you're going over there with only $1,000 in cash, but you're going to be considered a millionaire over there. So we went over the location, cuisine and foodways, language and dialects, and religion, and some interesting facts. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, because this country is really beautiful. I mean, yes, it has its ups and downs like any other country, but it's really beautiful, and they come together so well. here are my sources where I got everything from. And yeah.